Listen. So I believe it's universally acknowledged that fall is the best season of the year. And with that also comes the dawn of award season and the time when a lot of really good releases start coming out week by week. So shout out to all of the LME patrons for bringing you this video where I break down all of the good stuff that came out during September, October, and even mention some of our favorite fest picks coming out in November. Let me explain. So as always, I like breaking down my favorites by the ones worth renting, then the ones worth watching in the theater, all leading up to our personal must-watches of the month, in case you just want to skip to there. But like I always say, I like covering a lot of the stuff that I watched, at least the things that I've liked, because even if I may have not loved it, I like putting it in your radar, and I don't know, maybe it ends up becoming your must-watch. So right off the bat, we have a movie from A24 called Low Tide, which is one of the A24 movies that they have been just releasing straight to video on demand. It follows these brothers who find a pack of gold coins worth
$1,000.
That said, always be careful who you make, or, in this case, take money with, because one of them may end up being a psychopath. I think it's a pretty good directorial debut from Kevin McMullen. It's only 90 minutes, and I look forward to seeing what he has next. Another one that's out that I was really excited for, but didn't fully blow me away, was The Dead Center. Now, if you're gonna promote your movie using Shane Carruth, I would highly recommend being careful, because you're gonna build up a lot of hype. This is the man who made one of the most concrete timeline movies of all time. His follow-up feature film, he shot on a GH2. And that's not to mention this man can do everything. Sadly, the posters are way cooler for the movie than, the movie itself. But it is a decent virus flick that meets Unsane, where a man comes back from the dead alongside an evil entity, and Shane Carruth, as the psychiatric ward's doctor, starts investigating what's going on. It's a slow burn. I still gotta give it a rewatch to see if I missed anything, but I did want to mention it because in any case, it still stars Shane Carruth, and if anything, it put his previous films in your radar. Another one of the rent-its that you can actually stream is the Sundance movie called The Sound of Silence, which came out this year. It's slow, it has Peter Sarsgaard just cataloging toasters and fridge sounds, but I found the concept of the movie really interesting, of being able to categorize all of the sounds in our surroundings to determine which frequencies affect which moods. Again, way more interesting concept than the movie is itself, but still worth recommending. Corporate Animals, on the other hand, oh my goodness, is this a terrible comedy.
You've never eaten me out. Life gives you a rim job.
I don't even think that's physically possible.
Well, certainly not with that attitude.
I don't know what Phillips was talking about when he was saying that raunchy comedies can't be out there, because, this is the most least PC out of the bunch. Demi Moore plays the worst CEO of all time as she leads her corporate team on a retreat to New Mexico when they all get trapped underground since, she said it was okay to touch the rocks.
I am actually a 64th Acoma, so if any of you want to touch or examine the paintings, then just clear it with me first. I'll be assuming the role of tribal elder for the duration of the trip.
I know this type of comedy may not be for everyone, but it is available on video on demand, and while not every joke landed for me, I thought the dark humor worked well because they killed it with their delivery.
I'm not saying we should eat Brandon. No. I'm just saying we could eat Brandon.
Extraordinary is a horror comedy we mentioned in our South by Southwest list, following a driving instructor of all people. I thought it felt like a proper follow-up to the Scary Movie franchise, if, those didn't get too terrible, that didn't suck, and just so happens to be British.
Hello, little ghost lady! No. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were dead.
Another rent-it that I wanted to mention is Freaks, which is a sci-fi I knew nothing about, and when I saw the trailer afterwards, it seems to mention very little also, so I'll just say I thought it was very interesting. It was an interesting take on this genre. I don't want to spoil which one. That's a lot like another film from the 2000s that I can't say because it'll give it all away, but if you've seen Freaks, you know what I'm talking about. It stars Emil Hirsch as he keeps his little girl locked inside his house as people are hunting down people known as freaks. How that all plays out may be convenient at times, but I found it very intriguing with the way that they were able to showcase certain attributes and how you can combine people's attributes together.
Wanna know what's in an ice cream truck? Frozen kid bodies.
The Kill Team is another VOD pick that's an adaptation of a documentary of the same name that exposes some messed up stuff that some soldiers did in Afghanistan. Obviously, the doc is loaded with way more detail, while the narrative one dramatizes what Nat Wolff's portrayal of Andrew Brigman had to go through. And considering director Dan Krause did both, and the camera work, writing, and producing, I'd say the two make for a compelling double feature.
3, 2, 1.
Paradise Hills is a sci-fi fantasy thriller from Sundance that I found intriguing, or at least the premise of it. Pretty much a bunch of young women wake up on this secret island known as Paradise that's teaching them to be proper. But Mila Jovovich is kind of like running it, and you know she's hiding something. I think it has a great cast, and I'm curious to hear more people's thoughts on this movie, so watch it, because I haven't heard nobody's thoughts on this movie.
It's about owning your story, who you truly are.
Chef on Netflix, I just want to mention in here as the final one of the Renteds because it's the perfect background watch, especially while you're cooking. And interestingly enough, it is considered a spin-off to Jon Favreau's movie Chef, as the series has him cooking with the chef who helped him on the movie, Roy Choi. And I highly recommend this show for when you're cooking because it actually enjoys the process of it, eating. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and it helps that Favreau has rich friends to tell wild stories with.
Spider-Man together. Remember we were on Spider-Man?
We weren't in Spider-Man.
Yes, we were.
Homecoming.
You were in Spider-Man.
No.
Yeah.
I was in Avengers.
Where's the kid?
Now we get to the ones worth leaving the house for, in our opinion. We made videos on both clown movies, which, one may be too long from my perspective, the other really angsty at points, but I believe both will be remembered for years to come, and I personally like them both. Some others we'd recommend and that we actually want to make longer videos for, to get more of our thoughts out there, would be Hustlers and Judy. Both boast some really great performances, and I honestly believe both should have been longer. Monos, which we covered in our Sundance video, it has a gorgeous post. Oh my goodness, this got a release, and I still think that this and The Last Black Man in San Francisco are top 5 best shot movies of the year. There's then all the director's cuts. Again, I want to make a video on this because The Current War got a director's cut, Once Upon a Time got a director's cut, Midsommar got a director's cut. Only 2 of those were really, really good. The other one was such a terrible cash grab. Alina also recommended 2 other ones here that I didn't get to see, but she really liked Abominable. In the Shadow of the Moon, I'd say was more of a rent it for her, but I can't wait to see Abominable because she just keeps talking about how adorable it is. But the one that we both liked, and you can actually catch it in the comfort of your own home, but we would actually give it a combo price, is a little flick on Hulu called Little Monsters. We especially love the story behind it, which definitely check out our good friend Amanda the Jedi's video on it. We also have an article that Fernando wrote for the website. Pretty much, it breaks down the Q&A that we had at Sundance, where the director talked about how he didn't know how to tell his son that he loved him, so he made this zombie Star Wars adventure during a kindergarten field trip in order to show him and kind of embody all of the things that he's dealt with his kid and all of the conditions that he's had. I think Lupita kills it in the role. I think it's one of the better roles that she had this year, and it almost got Olaf in trouble. So here's a junior price one that you can catch, again, in the comfort of your own home. 2 other recs come in the form of Netflix shows with Dear White People Season 3 and Marianne. Now, I've covered every season of Dear White People, and I've even defended it since I actually caught it and really respect the cast and filmmakers. I even enjoy the story when it gets too hipster or too goofy, and when my videos get claimed. But Netflix still keeps them up because, screw us who made this video, as long as they can get free promo. But studio buffoonery aside, Season 3 may not be the best. It spends a lot of time just making the same fourth wall breaking joke.
Sam!
He's right. It's like the 3rd season of a Netflix show.
Is this some Black Mirror shit? Everybody's acting so different from the traits they previously established.
Al, people change, okay? If everyone stayed exactly the same, life would be tedious and predictable like a 3rd season of a Netflix show.
But I did respect the balls on Justin Simeon to go at his peers who looked down on him.
Your P has invented your style. Black people invented mine, but I'm the sellout.
I've been recommending the whole series through its ups and downs, and I'm curious to hear more people's thoughts on it as it continues. Same thing with Marianne. Copyright claims will let me bring my thoughts to you for this show. It's a horror miniseries about a famous writer who's brought back to her hometown after an evil spirit lures her in, and man, this lady's a terrible person. Like, to everyone. I think part of the suspense is wondering if she's gonna go at any second as she belittles all those around her. But for any horror fans out there who haven't checked this out, man, I highly recommend this. It's a French series that you can watch from the comfort of your own home and hide under the covers. Dolemite Is My Name is another Netflix movie that I want to talk about. Again, combo price for me if you were able to catch it in theaters. He's the loser who refuses to lose, is how Eddie Murphy puts it. The film follows artist Rudy Ray Moore and all the hard work he did as a stand-up comedian, a recording artist, filmmaker after adopting the persona of Dolemite. It comes from the director of Hustle and Flow, and even at TIFF, they had an entire exhibit for Ruthie Carter's work, and it's fantastic. Good Bad Flicks has a great video video on Dolemite's history that I recommend, because this dude was the best, man. It makes sense that this is written by the same writers who did Ed Wood, because that's what I kept thinking about while watching this movie as he tried to get his projects made. We're talking about a dude who, if he needed to hire someone who was on drugs, man, he just hired someone who was on drugs off the street. This man practically released the original My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and I highly recommend this movie, especially because you can catch it on Netflix.
I don't know when that phrase blaxploitation got coined.
Yeah,
so, as speaking,
you don't have those days anymore.
We wasn't feeling exploited when we were going to see these movies.
Not.
We wasn't sitting in the movies going, this is a damn shame how they making us look. We was just so happy to be up there.
First Love is Takashi Miike's new movie, and I'm really glad I was able to catch its limited release. Honestly, shout out the music box, you know? Because AMC claims they're boasting artisan films, and they weren't showing this one, but they were showing Joker that's nearing a Billy. So anyways, this action drama follows a young boxer who's been given months to live. There's a young girl sold into trafficking who can't separate reality from hallucinations. And then they're caught up in the mix between two massive crime lords who are going at it. If you're a fan of the Raid 2 storyline, like I am, I think you're gonna like this. It's very engaging, split right down the middle in terms of drama and extremely entertaining action. And my biggest regret was that I didn't catch it with the midnight crowd at TIFF. One Cut of the Dead, I'm just glad I was able to finally see. You guys have been recommending this bad boy for years because it's been out overseas, and it had such a delayed release here in the United States that at one point Amazon Prime even leaked it on their platform on accident. Well, now it's available on Shudder, and I highly recommend it. I don't want to say too much because, again, this is one of those where the trailer doesn't spoil too much, and all I knew going into it was that it was a zombie film that was very low budget, kind of do it yourself, and when I found out what was going on, I was like, whoa. And then 30 minutes passed in the movie, and I was like, whoa. It reminded me of one of my favorite on-set movies of all time, Living in Oblivion. So needless to say, while it's not perfect, its indie charm, I think, will completely win you over. Between Two Ferns, the movie, hilarious. Probably one of the funniest things I have on this list other than my one must-watch series. I've only tuned in here and there for the series, but the movie on Netflix is perfect for anyone who knows nothing about the show. Pretty much all you need to know is that Zach Galifianakis plays himself, and he's being used by Will Ferrell to run this interview series across America as a sort of blackmail for accidentally killing Matthew McConaughey. It's goofy as hell, but it stars a bunch of celebrities, and I've caught different jokes each time I've watched it, and it is so funny seeing the actors try to keep a straight face.
You won Best Actress. Have you ever thought of aiming higher and trying to win Best Actor? Good question.
It is good. It's thought-provoking.
Finally, to wrap up this section of the combo prices is Netflix again. You don't even gotta leave your house. Unbelievable. It's an 8-episode miniseries following two detectives who are connecting a series of cases throughout Washington and Colorado over the course of 4 years. But the thing is, they don't appear until episode 2. The first episode is one of the coldest openings I've ever seen. I felt sick. Caitlin Dever plays Marie, who spends the entirety of the first episode trying to seek help after being raped, only to end up being deemed a criminal herself for lying and then owing money to the courts. How? It's infuriating. It's maddening. And then Weaver and Colette arrive, and their motivation to solve these cases, as opposed to the people we met in episode 1, man, it makes you actually, it saves your hope for humanity is what I'm going to say. I recommend it because of its execution, its awareness, but also because it shows you how miscommunication and just ignoring, failing to check one little last piece of evidence can delay or completely alter a string of cases. In fact, yeah, it might as well be a must-watch. Obviously, if you saw our TIFF must-watch, you know which are some of our favorites, so I actually want to mention 4 other must-watches that we haven't talked about, but know that these are at the top as well. But starting with number 4, we have... Now, I really enjoyed this movie, but Alina thought this was a masterpiece. This girl was finding religious metaphors dealing with the Lord and Jesus Christ himself, falling onto mankind, just to feel like his father abandoned him till he meets him again. And I was like, damn, girl, what Coca-Cola freestyle option you choose. In all honesty, I love this movie too. You'd think these sad boy space epic movies would get repetitive, but I think each director brings a new perspective to their version. I don't think it's the best out of all the ones. Emotionally, I didn't feel the most invested in, but the way they built this world, this actually felt like us in the future. Subways on the moon, commercial and first class rockets. This is getting a full LME for sure. Oh, baby. If you caught our Sundance video, if you caught our Intercut podcast episode on this bad boy, you would know we love this movie. If there's one cult hit for us this year, it's the one about soccer moms who wear braces. I know a lot of people aren't gonna like this movie, but I would highly recommend check out the Vimeo short. It's free. If you like it, go for it. The first minute of it. If you find it funny, watch the short and then watch the entire movie. It's fantastic. In case you haven't heard me pitch it, it's like that video about how English sounds to non-native speakers. It's like aliens sent down their David Lynch and he observed Naperville, Illinois. Then he went back up and this was the biopic he made on us. The short film of it is free on Vimeo, like I said. It's finally out on VOD. I don't want to say anything else other than hearing your interpretations on why this woman gave birth to a soccer ball.
Popeye. No, baby, it's a school night.
You're a school!
Juliet, your mother is not a school!
Don't get mad, ho. Get a bag, ho.
Now, my final two are both series, and the first just so happens to be a comedy. Two of these women were just nominated for Emmys for other shows, but the one that they're in might be better than the whole damn category. Robin Thede HBO series is made up of different bits for its 30-minute episodes, but what I love is that some bits stand on their own, like some of the best sketches, right? Some, though, are reoccurring throughout the season, where you start catching jokes on repeat viewings you didn't know were there, or actually start keeping up with plot points and conspiracies. Then there's the best sketches, which are the bits you don't even realize are just smaller bits inside bigger bits. And it hits.
Well, sometimes I wish I was not a bad bitch all the time. Like, sometimes I wish I was just an okay bitch.
Finally, there's the Amazon Prime series from the creator of BoJack Horseman himself, and it's so fascinating, especially with the way they animate it.
So rotoscoping is the process of drawing on top of video. It gives the creators and the writers that opportunity to write anything.
I've seen it done several times in other projects, but what's interesting here is that there's like an about time-like story where that's going on, where the character of Alma gets into a car crash and is able to manipulate time after meeting with her deceased father. I'm a sucker for everything this show has to offer, from its trippy visuals to the way it meshes time, and the best part is that while I don't fully understand all the rules yet, and I've caught it 1.5 times, I'm probably gonna watch it 3 times before I make the full me on it, but I'm extremely invested in these characters. And there's times where you even hate her. You know, there's times you feel sorry for her, but the whole time you're invested. Angie from George Lopez is also in it, and it took me a while to realize it was her. Daveed Diggs is in it. Alita fans can see her be half human once again. And if it wasn't for the ending, which, I'll discuss it in another video. If it wasn't for the ending, I would have given this a perfect 10 out of 10, but man, it comes close. 9.5 just off of my first rewatch, and I highly recommend the 8 episodes, all on Amazon Prime, as my must-watch pick, along with all of these right here. So thank you guys for watching this video, and I'm curious to know your thoughts down below in the comment section for the movies that you're looking forward to or that came out within this past month. If we're talking about some November ones that we were able to catch early, all of these right here. We've covered them in previous videos in the past, be it our TIFF video or even individual videos, but I'm telling you right now, for the movies that have not come out, these. For everything that's already out, that's why I like making these must-watch lists, and hopefully you find them entertaining. I used to do these on the A to Z show all the time. I know people have asked to bring them back over here, and that's all thanks to the Patreons. There's always been a thing that I've been wanting to do with them, and for the first part on A to Z, be it with copyrights or just be it the fact that the algorithm wasn't picking it up and it would, like, people just wouldn't get the subscriptions, I've been wanting to transition this series over here to Let Me Explain and to have it go full on. It's supposed to be a monthly series, and then within that, sometimes if I miss a month, I'll make it a season, or, you know, we cover all of the film festivals, so South by, Sundance, TIFF, they all have their must-watch list, but I feel it's like a cool way for me to, you know, not get into full spoilers. I know people are always going to complain when they don't watch a movie and I say something and they go, that's a spoiler, and I'm like, considering you haven't seen the movie, maybe not, but I do enjoy making these videos because it's a cool way of just compiling everything that we've seen, so hopefully you enjoyed it. Shout out to all these patrons appearing out here. I really appreciate all of you. Shout out to them for bringing this video. Shout out to you you for watching, and until next time, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe so you too can eat Subway on the moon.